Dear soul, I sense an intense energy around you today, a vibration that speaks of deep thoughts and unspoken words that echo in the universe and reach here, brought by the angels. There is someone in your life, this person who occupies a considerable space in your thoughts and in your heart, who recently went through a moment of great vulnerability. The angels show me this scene clearly, an intimate conversation, a heartfelt confession to a trusted friend. And in that conversation, dear soul, this person confessed everything. Yes, everything they held back, everything they tried to hide, even from themselves about you, about the feelings they harbor, about the regrets they carry, and about the immense void you leave. It was a rare moment of openness, where the barriers fell and the truth of the heart was exposed, perhaps for the first time with such intensity and honesty, even if not directly to you. This confession was not superficial, it was profound, detailed, exposing fears, longings, and a recognition of your worth that perhaps this person has never expressed openly before. They spoke about how your absence created an emptiness that nothing and no one could fill, about how your unique energy is irreplaceable, and about how they realize, perhaps too late, the importance you had and still have in their journey. The UA angels indicate that this conversation was an internal turning point, a moment when denial gave way to a painful but necessary acceptance of the reality of their own feelings. It was as if an internal dam had broken, releasing a torrent of stored emotions, suffocated words, delayed recognitions. That friend or friend listened attentively, perhaps surprised by the intensity of the revelation, perceiving the depth of what was being shared. And what was said there in that space of trust reveals a heart that still beats strongly for you, a heart that fights against pride, fear, and uncertainty. This person admitted how much they think about you, how much past moments return to mind, with an impressive clarity, and how much the idea of a future without your presence seems incomplete, almost unthinkable in moments of greater sincerity with themselves. They spoke about the qualities they admire in you, about the way you made them feel, about the security and understanding they found by your side. It was a verbal painting of your importance, made with the colors of longing and regret. Before continuing the message, write this mantra in the comments. I am worthy of love and respect, and my heart is open to the truth. Now, continuing the message, the angels want you to understand the magnitude of this moment. It was not a simple outburst, but a deep recognition that was trapped, suffocated, and needed to find a release valve. This confession, even made to a third party, moved important energies. It put into words what the heart could no longer contain. And this verbalization, dear soul, has immense power, for it makes real, tangible, what was only a shadow in the mind and heart of this person. They may have felt a momentary relief by sharing this burden, but soon after, a new wave of emotion invaded them. Fear. A specific fear, directed at you. The fear of what you would think if you knew, the fear of your reaction, the fear that this confession, instead of bringing closer, could push even further away. And it is about this fear that the angels want to speak next, for it is the key to understanding why, despite feeling so much, this person still hesitates to approach directly. The conversation may have ended, but the echo of the words spoken continues to resonate within them, mixing the relief of the confession with the anxiety of what to do next. The depth of this confession that the angels show me is something that perhaps you can't even imagine, dear soul. It wasn't just about admitting longing or affection. It went much further. This person opened their heart about their own mistakes, about the times they may have hurt you, consciously or unconsciously. They acknowledged, perhaps for the first time out loud to someone, their share of responsibility. In the distance or conflicts that occurred between you, they spoke about the pride that prevented them from apologizing in crucial moments, about the stubbornness that made them insist on paths that led to estrangement, about the immaturity or lack of vision that prevented them from valuing what they had when they had it. The angels show that this confession to the friend was loaded with a genuine tone of remorse, not only for the loss of your company, but for the recognition of how their own actions contributed to the current situation. They expressed how much they admire your strength, your resilience, perhaps even the way you moved forward, even though it causes a pang of insecurity. They admitted missing the conversations, the complicity, that unique feeling of being understood by you in a way that no one else can. It was as if, by speaking to this friend, they were also speaking to themselves, organizing their feelings and realizing the dimension of what was lost or left behind. The conversation touched on sensitive points, missed opportunities, unsaid. Words, gestures that were lacking. They may have mentioned plans they made together that never materialized, shared dreams that were left by the wayside, and the pain they feel when they realize that those moments may not come back. This friend listened to everything, offering a shoulder, perhaps some words of advice, but mainly a safe space for this truth to come to light. And by doing so, this person took an important step, albeit indirectly. They lifted the weight of silence off their shoulders, at least partially. However, this confession also brought to the surface the intensity of the fear that paralyzes them. The fear that you no longer feel anything. The fear that you have closed yourself completely to them. The fear that, by trying to get closer, they will find an insurmountable barrier, a wall built by hurt or indifference. Now, before we continue this message, write in the comments, number 888, to call for the abundance of love and understanding in your life. The angels show this person reliving the conversation in their mind, pondering each word said, each emotion expressed, and the more they think, the stronger the awareness of what they feel becomes, and paradoxically, the more intense the fear of your reaction becomes. They wonder how you would be today, what you would think if you knew about this conversation, if there would still be any open door in your heart. It's an internal battle, dear soul, between the desire to repair, to reconnect, and the fear of causing more harm, or of being definitively rejected. The angels ask that you feel the sincerity behind this anguish. It's not a game, it's not manipulation, it's the vulnerability of someone who recognized their feelings and their mistakes, but who still hasn't found the courage or the right way to bring this truth to you. If this message touches your heart, and you feel the desire to support the continuity of this work of light, consider leaving a contribution through the Valo de Me button. Your generosity helps us to spread more messages of hope and clarity like this. The energy that this person is emanating now is a complex mixture of love, remorse, and an almost paralyzing fear of the next step. And what exactly is this fear that torments them so much, dear soul? The angels show me that it's not a simple fear, but a set of deep fears that intertwine and prevent them from acting. The main one, as mentioned, is the fear of rejection. But not just a casual rejection. She fears a rejection that confirms her worst insecurities, that she's not good enough, that she's irreparably ruined everything, that time and distance have truly erased the good between you. She fears looking into your eyes and not finding that old spark, or worse, finding indifference or resentment. This thought is almost unbearable for her right now. Plus, there's the fear that you've changed, and the angels confirm you have changed. You've grown, learned, become stronger. You're no longer the same person she left behind or distanced herself from, and this person realizes this, even from afar. She sees or senses your new strength, your independence, perhaps your inner peace that was hard won, and she fears that this new version of you no longer has space or need for her. She fears that you've built a life where she simply doesn't fit anymore, that you found your happiness without her, and that any attempt to return would be an unwelcome disruption. This fear is particularly strong because, in a way, she admires this transformation of yours, but at the same time, she feels intimidated by it. Another significant fear is that of not being forgiven. If there were hurts in the past, if harsh words were said or unfortunate actions taken, she carries the weight of that. Confessing to a friend may have relieved some of the internal pressure, but it hasn't erased the conscience of the mistakes. She fears that you hold justified resentments and that you're not willing to forgive or forget. She fears having to face the pain she may have caused and not knowing how to deal with it, or worse, realizing that the wound is too deep to heal. Before continuing the message, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take advantage and subscribe. This helps us continue creating meaningful content for you. Continuing the message, there's also the fear of her own judgment, not just yours, but her own. By admitting her feelings and mistakes, she's putting herself in a vulnerable position. If she tries to get closer and it doesn't work out, how will she deal with this new frustration? How will she face the fact that she exposed herself and still didn't get what she wanted? This fear of failing again, of hurting herself once more, also holds her back. And finally, the angels point to a subtle but powerful fear, the fear that even if you accept her back, things will never be the same again. She may idealize the past and fear that the magic of the connection has been lost forever, that the scars are too visible, that broken trust can't be fully restored. She fears that a reunion would be only a pale shadow of what was, and this prospect also scares her. All these fears, dear soul, form a complex barrier that this person is struggling to overcome. The confession was a step, but crossing this wall of fears to get to you is the real challenge she faces now. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 7. Write in the comments, "I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 7 and I am blessed. I send love and protection to the person I like and love very much." If this message touched your heart, show your support with a "thank you so much" and help spread this message of light to other people who need it. The intensity of these fears reveals how much you still matter, how much your opinion and feelings are valuable to her. The conversation with the friend, although necessary, also intensified this person's internal conflict, dear soul. The angels show that the friend, after hearing everything, probably encouraged her to act, to seek you out, to be honest about her feelings. Advice like, "You need to talk to her. What do you have to lose?" or "At least try so you don't live with this doubt," may have been given. And while these pieces of advice come from a place of support, they have also increased the pressure on this person. Now, it's not just their heart yearning for resolution, but also the external suggestion from someone they trust. This puts them at an even clearer crossroads, to follow the advice and face their fears, or remain paralyzed by uncertainty. The angels indicate that this person is weighing the pros and cons incessantly. On one hand, the desire to reconnect, to alleviate the longing, to perhaps rebuild something special with you, is a powerful force pulling them forward. The memory of good times, the feeling of unique connection, the hope for a different future, all feed the willingness to act. They imagine positive scenarios, conversations where you welcome them warmly, where there's understanding and maybe even a second chance. These thoughts bring a momentary warmth to their heart, a spark of optimism. On the other hand, the fears we mentioned earlier act as a heavy anchor, pulling them back. Each positive scenario they imagine is quickly countered by a negative one. You rejecting them coldly, you saying you've moved on, you relentlessly exposing past hurts. The fear of pain, humiliation, or confirmation that it's truly over is a potent break. They also consider practical consequences. How would this approach be? What would they say? How would you react? And what if others found out? This whirlwind of thoughts leaves them exhausted and confused. Before continuing, the angels ask you to do a release exercise. Write in the comments a list of people, including yourself, you'd like to forgive. Visualize each one, send love, and say, "I forgive you and release you. May peace be with you." Feel the lightness and freedom forgiveness brings. Repeat this practice every day to strengthen your inner peace and release anxiety. Now, continuing the message, the angels want you to understand that this internal struggle is real and draining for them. It's not a simple indecision. It's a battle between the heart and the mind, between hope and fear, between the past and the possibility of a different future. The confession to the friend was like opening a door, but now they find themselves on the threshold, hesitant to cross, unsure of what they'll find on the other side. They may be looking for signs, seeking some indication that it would be safe to approach. Perhaps they look at your social media, if applicable, subtly ask about you to common friends, or simply try to feel your energy from afar, looking for some clue about your current feelings. Any small sign can be interpreted in different ways, feeding either hope or fear. The energy around them is of great emotional instability, of someone who knows what they need to do, but hasn't yet gathered all the courage necessary to take the definitive step. The friend's advice echoes in their mind, but the final decision, the concrete action, still resides in the field of possibility, hovering like a heavy cloud over their days. However, The internal pressure is increasing. From the angel's perspective, dear soul, all this situation is not a mere coincidence or an isolated personal drama. There's a greater purpose at work, an energetic orchestration aiming to bring clarity, healing, and growth to both. The confession of this person to the friend was a step catalyzed by this greater energy, a necessary movement to break the internal silence and put feelings into a more concrete perspective. The angels see this person being gently, but firmly, pushed by the universe to confront their truth. The signs they might be receiving, vivid dreams with you, synchronicities, memories that come out of nowhere, the feeling of your energetic presence, are nudges from the spiritual plane, encouragements to stop postponing the inevitable. These signs aren't meant to scare you, but to remind you of the strength of the connection that exists between you two, a connection that transcends time and physical distance. The angels are also working on you, dear soul. They're strengthening your intuition, preparing your heart for whatever comes next. If you've been thinking more about this person lately, if you've had dreams or premonitions, know that it's part of the same energy movement. It's the universe paving the way for a possible resolution, whatever it may be. The angels want you to trust in your own inner wisdom. You feel the truth of this situation in your heart. You know intuitively if there's still something to be salvaged, or if it's time to close that door permanently. Today's message isn't meant to make you anxious or create false expectations, but to give you clarity about what's happening behind the scenes energetically and in this person's heart. It's so you can understand the complexity of their feelings and, most importantly, the fears that paralyze them. Understanding doesn't necessarily mean agreeing or accepting, but having a broader view of the situation, which empowers you to make your own decisions with more consciousness and inner peace. The angels see the potential for deep healing here, for both of you. Even if romantic reconciliation isn't the path, the opportunity for mutual understanding, forgiveness, on both sides, including self-forgiveness, and the release of past energies, is immense. The confession was this person's first step towards that healing. The next step, direct communication with you, is what's still pending, blocked by fear. The angels surround this person with light, trying to dissolve these fears, encouraging courage and honesty. They also surround you with light, dear soul, so you can have clarity, serenity, and strength to deal with this situation in the way that's best for your own evolution and well-being. Remember that you're not alone in this. There's a spiritual support network around you, guiding your steps and lighting your path. Trust in the signs you receive. Listen to the soft and wise voice of your heart. The angelic perspective is always one of love and growth. They see the potential for positive transformation in this situation, regardless of the final outcome of the interaction between you two. What's important is that the truth is faced, that feelings are acknowledged, and that each one can move forward, together or apart, with more peace and understanding. The energy is moving quickly now, and the need for a resolution is becoming increasingly pressing for this person. The internal pressure this person is feeling has reached a critical point, dear soul. The angels show that the confession to the friend was like opening a small crack in a dam, and now the water is forcing its way through with increasing intensity. The initial relief of sharing the secret has given way to a growing urgency. She realizes that simply confessing to a third party doesn't resolve the fundamental issue, the need to communicate with you. The silence between you two has become heavy, almost deafening to her. Each day that passes without concrete action increases the anguish and the feeling of wasted time. The angels indicate that she's reaching a point of enough. Enough of living in doubt, enough of being haunted by the past, enough of letting fear dictate her actions. The energy around her is of someone about to take action, even if she doesn't know exactly how or when. It's like a rubber band that's been stretched to its limit and is about to snap. The universe, perceiving this internal tension, is intensifying the signs and circumstances to push her definitively out of her comfort zone, or discomfort zone in this case. She might unexpectedly find someone who talks about you, or see something that reminds her of you so strongly it's impossible to ignore, or perhaps a particularly vivid dream that leaves her with a clear feeling she needs to act. These coincidences are in fact energy orchestrations to catalyze change. The friend who heard the confession might also bring up the subject again, asking if she's taken any action, reinforcing the need to face the situation. This external pressure, added to the internal one, is creating a scenario where inaction is no longer a sustainable option. She feels she needs to do something, anything, to get out of this emotional limbo. Share this video with 2 loved ones who need this message of hope and faith. Let's build a chain of love and mutual support together. Leave a comment with a prayer for your guardian angel. Now, continuing the message, the angels want you to be aware that this movement is happening. It's not a guarantee that she'll show up at your door tomorrow, but the probability of a contact attempt has significantly increased. The question now is not whether she will try, but when and how. The way this will happen is still uncertain, as it will depend on the courage she manages to gather and the way she finds to overcome her fears. It might be a hesitant message, an unexpected call, or perhaps even a chance encounter that she herself orchestrates. Whatever the form, the intention behind it will be the same: to test the waters, open a communication channel, express, albeit timidly at first, what was confessed with such intensity to the friend. This tipping point, this turning point, is near. The accumulated energy needs to be released, and the most direct form of release would be through communication with you. Prepare your heart, dear soul, not with anxiety, but with serenity and self-confidence. Be centered in your own truth, in your own limits and desires. The confession was made, the fear exists, but the need to act is speaking louder now. The next chapter of this story is about to be written, and the pen is almost in this person's hand. In light of all this, dear soul, the most important question now turns to you. What does all this mean for your heart? How do you feel knowing about this? Indirect confession, these fears, this internal struggle. The angels ask that you take a moment to connect with yourself, with your most authentic feelings, without filters or external expectations. Allow yourself to feel whatever comes up. Perhaps compassion for her vulnerability, perhaps frustration, add the hesitation, perhaps indifference for feeling that this time has passed, or who knows, a hint of hope or curiosity about what could happen. There's no right or wrong feeling. The important thing is to recognize what's present in you now. This inner clarity is your greatest compass. It will guide you on how to react if and when this person tries to approach. Knowing what you truly want, or don't want, will give you strength and serenity to deal with the situation. If the approach happens, you don't need to have all the answers ready, but being connected with your inner truth will make all the difference. You'll have the power to decide whether you want to listen, whether you want to open a door for dialogue, or whether you prefer to keep that door closed to protect your peace. The angel's message today is not only to inform you about the other person's feelings and fears, but above all to empower you. You are not a passive spectator in this story. You are the guardian of your own heart, of your energy and your well-being. Her confession and her fears are hers. Your response, your decision, your path are yours. The angels encourage you to honor yourself, respect your limits, and make decisions that are aligned with your growth and happiness. If there was pain in the past, reflect on whether you're ready or willing to revisit those issues. Offer forgiveness, which is above all a release for yourself, or establish clear boundaries. If the connection still resonates with you, and there's a genuine desire to explore reconciliation, be open but also cautious, observing actions and not just words. Remember your worth, dear soul. You are a strong, wise woman who has overcome many challenges. This situation is another opportunity for growth and self-love affirmation. Use the information that the angels brought today, not to create anxiety, but as a tool for self-discovery and preparation. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this connection in the past? What do I hope for in a relationship, whatever it may be today? What are my non-negotiables? Having these answers clear for yourself will give you a solid base for any future interaction. Trust your intuition. It will guide you. The angels are by your side, supporting your choices and sending strength for you to navigate this moment with grace and wisdom. The power of decision is in your hands. We've reached the climax of this message, dear soul. The confession was made to a friend, revealing deep feelings, regrets, and a longing that doesn't fade. The fear of your reaction, of rejection, of not being forgiven or finding a closed door, has been the big barrier preventing this person from bringing this truth directly to you. However, the internal pressure and the universe's nudges are making inaction unsustainable. A turning point is near, and the probability of an attempt at contact is real and growing. The angels want to reiterate that this person is not acting out of malice or manipulation by hesitating. She is genuinely struggling with her own inner demons, her fears and insecurities, which are intensified by the importance you still hold for her. The intensity of the feelings confessed reveals how much you've marked her life and how much your absence weighs. The conversation with the friend was a crucial step, a verbalization of what was suffocated, but the true test of courage will be direct action towards you. Be prepared not with tension, but with the serenity of someone who knows their own worth and is connected with their inner truth. Remember the fears that afflict you, the fear that you've changed and no longer need her, the fear of not being forgiven, the fear that it's too late. Understanding these fears may give you a more compassionate perspective, even if it doesn't necessarily change your final decision. What matters is how you will choose to respond, honoring your own feelings and boundaries. You have the right to decide the pace, the terms, or even if you want to have this conversation. The angels surround you with protection and clarity. Trust your intuition. It is your safest guide in this moment. The universe is orchestrating movements for the truth to come out and for both of you to find some kind of resolution, whatever it may be. The energy is in motion, and something is about to happen. Keep your heart at peace, knowing that you have the strength and wisdom to deal with whatever comes. If this message resonated with you and your situation, write in the comments, "I trust in the clarity that the angels bring me." Share your experiences in the comments. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.